Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here on my YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be covering how to W key like PXLARIZED, who is a really solid and fundamental player, and I particularly like him because of the fact that he follows the way I think you should play Fortnite. I see it in terms of like, this is how you're supposed to play Fortnite. Honestly, this is how you're supposed to fight. Back in the day, it used to be Norreally. Norreally used to be the person who like always embodied everything that I taught, and now PXLARIZED is definitely that person. PXLARIZED seems to not only peek everything as much as he possibly can, especially when it doesn't cost him time. Anytime that he can make sure that he does a shoot build combination, he always does. Like, you'll watch this video, every single time he has the possibility of doing a shoot build combination, it's done. There's never an instance where he doesn't do that. Some sort of shoot build, shoot reset, shoot flip cone, some sort of shoot block. You know, in one of my previous videos, I actually talk about this a lot. Shoot build is one of the most easiest ways to gain value in fighting. It is the easiest way. So if you haven't implemented it yet, I highly recommend it. But without further ado, let's just hop right into the video. Guys, before today's video starts, if you want to support the creator on your screen right now so I can continue to post free, valuable content on YouTube, then check out the first links in the description. The first one offers one-on-one private coaching with myself, where you can get better at Fortnite at a rapid rate and learn what your mistakes are from a professional. And the second link offers a esports grade mouse from oneclickmouse.com. This is my very own gaming brand that I've actually created myself. And if you want a high quality mouse, but at an affordable price, you could buy the Aspire Pro to use to compete, to practice, to play tournaments. And I really think that this is something that you guys will like. So check out oneclickmouse.com. And now back to the video. We're just going to go through the video. I'm going to turn the volume down so that you guys can still hear my voice. But I want to sort of break down some of these fights so that you guys are able to sort of emulate this in your own games, right? The Offspawn is not too much other than, you know, pacing and making sure that you're gaining momentum. What I mean by that is, like, every kill that you get Siphon, obviously, but you also get 150 mats. And that's very powerful Offspawn. Like, if you can just continuously keep getting kills, it kind of builds like a snowball. And you know, one of the ways that he makes sure that he gets all these Offspawn kills is his spectacular aim. Really good clone combination. This combination afterwards is also really good, so take a look. Actually, we do need epic pen for this, so let's just set that up. But basically, as he comes up, grabs the wall and places the cone. And what's very important, I don't think you guys see this, is it's actually really cool. At first glance, it kind of seems crazy, like, oh yeah, you coned him, but like, look at how he places the cone, right? He actually looks above the wall, and that's not that common. A lot of people actually do some sort of, you know, window into that, or, you know, even top row at it and then try to attempt it. The problem with that is that it makes your wall weak unnecessarily, and it loses time. There's less speed in terms of doing it in that method. And honestly, PXLARIZED is really efficient in the way he does things, and this is one of these examples. Top right is good, you know, piece off the right side. At this point, you make a wide edit because honestly, you're probably really likely to get this kill. Although I don't like it that much because he's not full HP. Like, if he was full HP, I would like this play, but there is still a really good chance that he just gets one pump. So, I'm not a huge fan of that play, but again, a lot of times you have to take some element of risk. It's one of those things where it's like, you don't think it's a bad play until you're done. You know what I mean? But, you know, PXLARIZED is able to follow up and get both these kills. This is very close to actually being a kill. So let's actually go back. I kind of want to watch some of this. Oh, that guy has a Maven. Maybe that's why he considered it. Yeah, the enemy has a Maven. So there's just no way he dies one shot at 147. In that case, then yeah, I mean, it's fair. It really does depend on whether he considered it. This is really good concert placement. You can see the footprint on the 3D audio. Or the visual audio, and he's coming around, and you know where he's gonna pull up, right? So in that case, you just crosshair place that angle, gets both builds, almost full boxes him. It would have been over by then if you did manage that, but he's gonna continue onwards. Here, this is a third-party opportunity. They're fighting inside this box. Nearly grabs that wall. It's very close. Shoot build. Go up and around. It's better to go up and around if you have the option to do that versus going through the builds. Right, the problem with chasing through the builds is if the guy goes up like he did right here, you're gonna have to, like, it's hard to chase someone who's above you. But if you were to, you know, go up and above, it's really easy to keep them down, and you want to keep them down. If you give enemy height at any point, the fight's gonna take a lot longer. The biggest time waste, in my personal opinion, of fights is to make sure that they don't get above you. If you can do that, then the time waste doesn't happen. It's really solid. So just make sure that's happening, guys. I think that's it's a really easy thing to fix, is to just make sure that you're not wasting time by giving them height unnecessarily. Don't give them that opportunity. Easiest way to do that is to go up and around. Right here, hits him 27, just chasing this guy, has height above him the whole time. Yeah, okay. The only issue here, I don't know what happened here, but I mean, it's actually pretty, I don't want to say obvious, it's not obvious, but maybe he gets confused, he thinks that's the person. But this guy is actually the person, and he goes around to the right. Now it's much easier for me, who's like a viewer, you know, I'm just like only paying attention to these things, whereas when you're playing, it's much easier to make these sort of mistakes.
Just fucking lurking everywhere.
But I mean, that sort of explains, like, that is, the information is on his screen. He's able to track it, but he makes a slight misstep, gets hit, and then this is important. A lot of people tend to fail this. You'll be very surprised. Go watch your replays. I really hope that this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, then this is a, you know, clear cause of death in most of your games. If you take the first hit, play defensive. You can go for counter shots if they approach you, but give them the opportunity to aggress, if that makes sense. Like, don't just keep fighting. Let them make that decision on their own to chase you, because sometimes people just don't do that. That's number one. Number two, it's really, really beneficial, and especially in your favor, if you have fast heals like Chuck Splashes, to use them to make sure you get your HP back to a fightable amount, and then fight. A lot of people tend to just, like, willy-nilly, like, ego fight. Like, they're like, oh, I'm, you know, 50 HP, but I can definitely kill him. But you don't need to take it that far. I honestly think you could try to make sure that you heal as much as possible if you have fast heals. In that case, that's what Polarized does. And continues to go upwards. Very, very close. Now, one element of, like, Polarized's gameplay, I think no one really notices, actually, at first glance. I feel like people notice everything else, but no one really notices this. And it doesn't, like, at first glance, people are going to say, like, oh, it's his aim. It's like, you know, that's why he's able to do this. But he flicks a lot. And the reason why you flick a lot is because when you are given a certain amount of time to go for a shot, especially right after you peek, I would rather you go for an attempt at all of some shot rather than take 2 extra seconds to line up your shot, get hit in return, and then hit them as well. Like, and especially because they have the option to shoot build, you getting hit first may mean that you don't get a trade at all. So it's better to go for, like, some random flick attempt into a shoot build, right? You'll see many attempts of this. Like, every shot after this is that. Like, look, right? It's like slight medium-sized flick into shoot build. Right here as well. Shoot build. And it's like you're trying to get that build as fast as possible. And obviously, you don't want to build before you shoot. If you have your shotgun out already ready, you want to get that shot off and then build. And so, like, flick as hard as you can. Like, go for it, right? It's okay if you miss sometimes because, again, if you build, there is no punishment. That's how you should treat it. Like, flicking unironically, doesn't matter if you're like a very slow sense or like anything like that, you should implement it into your gameplay. Flicking does seem fundamental to Fortnite just because of the fact that that shoot build mechanic does exist. And because it exists, you want to get your shot off as fast as possible. And that by definition is just like flick your shot. Just go for it. Again, there's no harm. You can work on getting better at it, but there's no real harm to missing. Like, obviously, you would prefer to hit the shot, but sometimes you just won't have that ability. Okay, this is a really good piece by him. Just following up with everything. I don't know what's happening here. That's just not ethical at all. Seems. Okay, what happens here? Okay. Well, these guys are just not building, it seems. This guy has the best box of all time. Okay, that guy's just one shot as well. I mean, it's good peeks by Polarized, for sure. First shot was not a hard shot, but the second one was a good peek. Not bad at all. It's nice. Okay, you guys need to see this. It's so consistent, especially throughout the rest of the video. It is so consistent, it's scary. And it's like, this is what I love, man. Like, I need to see more people doing this. But it's just like, it's classic. It's so easy at the higher levels, and people, it's very obvious at the higher levels, but people tend to forget at the lower levels, and then they're confused. Like, why am I losing fights? Again, this is the enemy, right? They're under this cone. You have 2 options. You can go like this. You can go like this. I guess you have 3, and you can go like this. This is the best. Why? Because you have right-hand peek. So, in other words, if you have bird's eye view, you want to go counterclockwise around the builds as much as possible. Go this way. This is not correct. If you have options of both of them, go to the right, right? That's going to give you good options. And height, like, everyone views height wrong, honestly. I really believe it. Height is this is super, super important. I'm actually going to go on a little bit of a tangent. Like, let's explain this. Especially in a 1v1, height is not there to be used in a way where you just sit on height and you just spray, or you just sit up there to maintain it. You need to think of it as like a pounce, and you can redeem your height for 1 pounce, and then you can, you know, try to fight back for it. Like, after you drop, maybe you hit them, or maybe you miss because they built or whatever, you can then immediately go back up. If you watch PGs, this is very common, especially between pros. They'll, like, take height, be 2 blocks above their enemy, and then pounce. Like, they'll drop down, because as you're falling, it's really unexpected. Let me show you the clip right here. Like, this is super, super important. So he takes height, it's very obvious he has height, and then he pounces, meaning he drops down. You just, like, suddenly drop, and it's really, really hard to predict. And it's really, really easy to get shots. And then he tries to go for the shoot build. And then it's really easy from there. But that's my point. You need to use height as a resource to pounce on your enemy. Don't just sit up there just doing nothing. Take the initiative, use what you have as an advantage, and convert it into damage. And that's when it really means something. And the best way to do that with height is to just drop down. And, you know, don't do it every single time. Do it with caution. And, you know, as you try to get better and better at it, as you attempt to do it, you'll gain experience of the pouncing ability, and you'll be able to get better at it. And you'll be able to find those weird angles that people don't expect. I mean, you'll see other examples of Polarized doing it, so that'll be really, really good. But yeah, I think that's gonna help you guys a lot, honestly. People tend to use height as like I don't even understand, like it makes no sense. They just sit there and like camp. But like something in the game is only good for you if you make value of it. And so if you just get height and do nothing with it, it genuinely doesn't mean anything, honestly. It doesn't do anything. Okay, that was not a good peek. Okay, that was not good at all. Yeah, so okay, this is very important. This will let's go on another topic now. So this is really, really important. A lot of people tend to, when they get a wall, and this happens with pros as well. It happens to me as well. I'll be the first to mention it. But it's very important that when you get a wall, first thing that you should really do, if possible, is to understand what your enemy's intentions are. There's two options. Enemy is either waiting there, just chilling, waiting for you to edit. That's option number one, right? So he's just chalking out, just looking right at you. Option number two is he turns, probably 90 degrees in this case, and then tries to edit out. In option number one, you want to peek. You have to, right? And so in this case, he is doing option number one. The problem is, Polarized is not doing a proper peek. I would say about half of Polarized body is actually exposed to the enemy, right? And so what's the better option? He should just stand here when he does this edit, and then he's dead. Like, it's very easy, right? He just needs to be further left. And once he's further left, it's super, super easy to do the exact same play. I think Polarized knows this. It's not like a secret or a surprise. Like, if you watch this clip back, you would say the same thing. Number two, when the enemy tries to edit out, in that case, it's better to do a wide edit if you feel like you will have the danger of them not being exposed. For example, in this case, if the enemy threatens to run this way, like he's trying to run out this wall, right, goes to the left, then what's most important that you have to take into account is doing a peanut butter may actually be detrimental to you. Meaning, it's going to be hard to see him once he gets about, I'm going to turn my camera off just so you see this part, okay? It's going to be hard to see him once he gets about here, right? It's going to be really hard. Like, he goes left and then gets to about here. It's not easy to see him. You have to, like, sort of jump and make sure that you catch him at the right angle. It's not good, right? But in this case, if you're pretty confident with the fact that he actually goes left and he's actually trying to run out of the box, then in that case, I would recommend that you make a top row edit and try to shoot him from there. But again, you have to be confident. You need to actually observe. Don't make assumptions. People, like a bunch of my students as well, they had this issue and I had to fix it for them. Don't make assumptions about what your opponent's going to do. Only make a judgment off of what you observe. Because sometimes people, you think like, oh my god, this is so dumb. Like, their only play is this. They're only going to do this. And then they're even stupider than you thought and they like go for the other play. And you don't expect it. And you make a play that would get punished by that. Like, it's not good. Don't make assumptions. It's going to get you killed. Really, really important. Actually observe your enemy and make plays based off of that. But here, Polarized should just slurp, and that's what he does.
190 on that angle is fucking insane.
But yeah, I mean, he's just too exposed on that angle for sure. He's just too far to the right, up the ramp.
Yo.
Okay, so he just shows. Skip ahead. Okay, so he uses ODM. Oh, don't tell me the rest of the video is gonna be ODM. ODM's already removed that arena in competitive playlists, so. Oh god. I mean, it is an OP weapon, for sure. Like in solos and duos. I mean, it's just a frustrating thing to play. That's a good play. Yeah, I like that. A lot of people wouldn't go for this for some reason, but I think it's good. Again, at 149, you're full HP. You should do stuff like this. Honestly. Even if the enemy has gun out, honestly. Like, you can do it. I guess it really depends on how the surprise, like, likelihood of you getting that surprise on the enemy, if that makes sense. A lot of people will wait like 5 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, and then go for it. At that point, honestly, I feel like the enemy would have come up with some sort of counterplay, and at that point, you probably don't want to do it. Okay, this guy's super low. You spray through it. Just make sure that you are not doing these sort of surprise play, like, with some delay. Like, then they're going to be more accustomed to the fact that you're going for it. But if you, like, hit them 100 and then immediately pounce on them right after, then it's super likely to work. And again, you can look at your enemy's behavior, what they're holding in their hand, what they're looking at, to sort of judge whether they're even going to be aware of the play that you're about to make. So you can do all these sorts of things, and it's totally possible to sort of read your opponent based on what they're doing. And ultimately, it does seem to come from experience, like being able to read people. It tends to come from patterns in the past based off all the reps that you've done. So this is something that totally comes through time. Like, the more you play, the better you get in this sort of experience realm. of sort of reading your opponent and getting better at it. But, you know, if you never practice reading your opponent, you never actually read your opponent or attempt to do that at all, then it's going to take some extra time to get to, you know, accustomed to that and getting used to that sort of ability to read your opponent and try to tell what they're about to do. So, really important if you try to, you know, yeah, what does he do here? I'm actually a little bit confused as to why. I'm actually really confused as to why he. Yeah, wait, what? Okay, look. This is so confusing. So he actually hits this guy for like 130, right? Like, look, 130, 138. Hits him again for 8. Doesn't hit him again. So this guy's hit for 140. So why doesn't he key him? Yeah, why? What is this? That guy's literally hurt. He goes for this guy instead. I couldn't tell you why. My only thought process, I mean, if this is a conscious thought and not some random play that PXLARIZED made, if this is what he was thinking, he's a genius. Okay, he's really, really good. Because I don't, it's a little bit surprising to me, but yeah, I mean, the only play that I can think of is, hey, you'd rather key the full HP guy so that the guy who's low HP is not third partying you. Whereas if you were to key the low HP guy, then the other guy would third party you. But like, I don't know. I think it's better to just key the low HP guy. It's not that big of a deal. But if that's his intention, sure. But I mean, it's arena. It's not that deep, honestly. Like, he's just going for whatever, it seems like. That's my guess. This is a good piece. Yep. Not bad at all. Dude, Mythic Shotgun is so busted. I'm not gonna lie. Not even just like PXLARIZED using it, but just from my vibe from using it myself, it does seem like Mythic just hits 100 plus every single time. It's so hard to hit less. Like, look how hard it hits, man. Like, it's so OP. And it's super fun when you use it. Like, yeah, look, like you're just hitting max. And, you know, polarized aim is spectacular. It's no doubt contributing to it. But, like, you know, I use it. My other people that I've seen use it. And it's just, like, doesn't seem to hit less than 100.
Oh, or kill me.
So, I mean, that's just super, super good. It's good when you, like I said, it's good when you're using it, but it sucks when someone has it against you. It sucks. He's getting 200 pumped in a, like, when you're not used to getting 200 pumped. You don't expect to get 200 pumped. So yeah. There's another guy back there. Why does he like leave? It's so weird. Maybe he wants. Actually, there's 7 enemies left, and he has 23 kills. So if he wants the 30 bomb, he needs every single kill from here on out. I'm curious if he actually gets it. Oh, this is good right hand. Yeah. Let's go around to the right. Bad. Nothing crazy, but mythic shotgun just goes crazy. Hits max. So, I mean, dude, that shotgun is just not fair. Good ramp. Yeah. Ramps through the box. Pops a slurp early. Well, this is an interesting case. There's literally 3 people here, isn't there? 2 or 3 people for sure. Should pop another slurp. I guess it's already ticking. Goes for it again. Oh, that wall up top is already pieced. That's tough. But I mean, this is classic diagonal box fighting angle. Really good at it. Dude, hello? He did that shit on edit on release off. Like, that's super fast. Not easy to do at all. And I mean, this is another concept that I've talked about multiple, countless amount of times. Understanding build HP, not only for defensive purposes, so that people don't take your wall first try, because they just pickaxe it once and it's broken, but also offensively. Honestly, it's not easy to do if you don't know what to look for. But what you're looking for mostly is just edits and resets, and you'll get a good feel for like what damage you need to break a wall. As you again get experience with this. It's all about experience. But like, think about it this way: the experience only starts accumulating once you've started attempting to implement it in your gameplay. Does that make sense? It's almost like you don't unlock the skill of looking out for walls and the HP of builds unless you consciously try to put it into your gameplay. That's what's most important. I feel like if you go on autopilot, it's very, very hard to add new skills into your arsenal. And it's really important that you try to consciously do this. Otherwise, it's way too hard. For example, if you don't track people's HP, and I don't mean, guys, when I say track HP, I don't necessarily mean track them to the dot, like you're adding numbers in your head. Like, relatively speaking, how low are they? Are they around 50 HP? Are they 100 HP? Are they 150 HP? Are they 200 HP? And then what is your HP? And then compare the two and then make your decision. That's what I mean by HP tracking. HP tracking is not meant to be like a very specific. So if you want it to be easier for yourself, you don't want to be overwhelmed, feel free to use the 4 increments, like 50, 100, 150. That's fine. That's not my issue. My issue is that people don't do it at all. And then I asked them mid-fight, I'm like, what's their HP? And they're like, I actually don't know. And I'm like, okay, that's a problem. That's not good. Like, you can't make proper decisions without information. Decisions, quality decisions, good decisions are only based off of information behind them. Like, if you don't have information behind your decisions, it's random. It's pure random. Like, what else are you basing them off of? So it's most important, like, you track the HP, because honestly, that's one of the most primary pieces of information that you should be collecting during a fight. If you don't, then it's very, very tough. There's a guy here. Hello. Press to hit him through that. What is that guy doing? Dude, I wish I had these people in my arena. Like, what the hell? Still, they're like, it's definitely impressive that he drops 30.
There's no way they find each other, right?
Because I don't know how to find 30 people. Like, it's not actually like the fights themselves. It's like he gets to 30 people before the lobby dies out. Like, I haven't seen a lobby like this.
Yes.
Where the last 8 people, 7 people are just not dying, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
He's gonna be hiding behind a tree and kill him.
so several things. Like, what do we gain from this video, guys? Here's what you gain. This is very important. I say that a lot, but when I say it, I actually mean it. Aim, Polarize has it. Good edit accuracy, Polarize has it. And sometimes, if you notice, Polarize does edit a little bit slower to make sure that he does. In some cases, he does it very fast, but for the most part, it's like not that crazy fast, honestly. His ability to edit through multiple pieces is good and super fast. But like in single edit situations, he doesn't try to like rush like super fast. Yeah, I know he can go faster than this. That's my point. It's like when you're playing arena, when you're trying to fight people, you don't need to focus on edit speed and maximizing that. It's okay if you're at your average speed. What's more important is hitting the edit first try. We can actually see an example. I'll go back because this game's pretty much done. I'll try to find this example where I think it's right here. Where is it exactly? Is it here? Oh, I think it's here actually. Yes, I think it's this.
It's fucking
look,
insane coming out of
you're
it.
about to see it. If I go back here, there you go. Perfect. Look, here's a good example of edit accuracy screwing Polarize over, but also I guess you should follow the second rule, which is if you miss an edit, which he does here, and you know, it's not an easy edit to hit because half of it's covered. Like you have to start this way. You cannot do it the other way, right? It's hard to do it the other way. I mean, you can, but it's very inefficient. You know, you'd have to like select the wall here, go this way, and then do that. But that's just like weird. Like, why would you do that? This is just clearly the better edit. But the problem is he's also jumping forward. It's just a hard edit to hit. Cool. The problem is after he misses this edit, he goes for it again. And usually that's not recommended, especially if you're exposed. I mean, if you have a peak, then you could go for it 2, 3, 4 times. But this guy's probably looking because people tend to notice when you miss an edit. And then they know you're going to go for it the second time. It's like they already have they know the second one's coming, right? So they're going to crosshair and be ready for it because they saw you miss the edit. And so couple things. Edit accuracy is really important, like I said, but also if you miss an edit, try not to go for the same edit again, or if you're going to do it, make sure you're peeking it. And in this case, Polarize is not peeking it, which is why he gets punished with damage. And that's why, you know, he does do damage of its own, which is definitely good, but, you know, preferably not take 190 damage would be good. But, you know, aim is really, really solid. Edit accuracy, really, really solid. Shoot building, really solid. And his ability to use piece control is really solid. All of these things are really, really good and really, really solid. And that's why he's good at fighting. Now, most pros have this, but then most pros are really, really good at fighting as well. Most people that I watch at the intermediate level, most people that I coach, they are missing something from that bunch. Piece control is important, but it's not important in the way that you think. What I mean by piece control is not like full boxing someone with the wide edit. And it's not even full boxing someone, honestly. Piece control is usually most beneficial with one wall pieces, or your ability to take a wall with the gun very, very quickly and cleanly. Your ability to use pump into a one pickaxe wall combination take. That's important. Stuff like that. That's what I'm referring to when I talk about piece control. I feel like a lot of people get it confused. Like, piece control is not the montage clips that you see of people full boxing each other. That's not what I'm referring to. It is still technically piece control, but if you want the most value, it's usually just taking one surface piece, either cone floor above, one wall, exit piece, you know, stuff like that. Basically covering people's exits, stuff like that. That's good piece control. You don't necessarily need to full box them. I think it's a little bit exaggerated. Like another good example to talk about exit piece is like very beginning of the video. If you go back here, I think it's literally this clip right here actually. So let's watch this. Goes up. Okay, look, this is what I mean. He didn't full box him. He just goes for the important pieces. These walls are not important. Why? Because it takes time for this guy to go out to the side. And if he does decide to do it, Polarize can always just take the next wall, like as he sees him progressing to one side, and then just double cone, meaning he windows and then cones here and then cone here, which should place cone up top and cone on bottom. And then again, don't go for the walls. It's too much piece. You're going to expose yourself unnecessarily. The guy's probably going to hit you. Just go for the cones. the wall piece between you and the enemy, and then the cones are the most important pieces. Because then you can go for the shot, and then as they're trying to exit again, you can place the walls to catch them. That's how I see it. Like right here, this is a good exit piece, right? Ideally, you want to cone up top as well, but you know it's not a big deal. This guy's not actually going for it, and here he does a wide edit. I guess he might have imagined that this guy was going to look away, but this guy's still looking towards him. But another reason why I think the wide edit's actually fine in this case is because he has a Maven, like I said before. But yeah, exit piece, piece control, all really, really solid. There are some other skills that I'm probably missing, but it's mostly basic stuff in terms of value. Like you want to do stuff that's going to give you value, but you don't necessarily care about how difficult it is. There's not necessarily a 1-to-1 ratio between the two, right? Sometimes some things can be very, very simple to execute, but give you a lot of value. And shoot build or shoot block is a really, really, really good combination to execute. You should do it every single time, right? Like he does this here. It's such a habit, and I feel like I challenge you guys to this, okay? I want you guys to try this. Go into your replays and watch for any instances where you could have shoot blocked or shoot build or shoot reset or shoot cone flip, shoot edit basically. Anywhere where you could have shoot blocked, did you do it? Did you miss an instance? Because sometimes people definitely miss it, and I feel like that costs them HP. And, you know, just 1 or 2 of them is enough for you to die. So just make sure, go into your replays, go check. And some people are definitely going to find out that, hey, you know, maybe I don't shoot build as much as I do or much as I should. And some people are going to find out that, hey, I do it perfectly. Good. I feel confident in that now. So I don't need to worry about this. I can worry about other things. So it's going to be beneficial either way. 30 kill win from Polarized. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll make another one because Polarized is really, really worth it. Like he does play fundamentally and he does play really, really solid Fortnite. So I'll make another video in the next season. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something new, and I'll see you guys next time.